Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Simply English Pod. We've got a new episode for you today.
Hi there. And today we're talking about something pretty fun and universal, I think.
Yeah, hobbies and how we spend our free time. Things everyone does, really.
It's just part of life, finding things you enjoy doing. Hobbies are so important for just feeling good.
Right. Now, if you follow Simply English Pod, we usually focus a lot on listening practice.
Which is great, of course.
It is. And don't worry, listening is still a huge part of today's episode. But we thought we'd mix things up just a little bit. We're going to bring in some reading and writing elements, too.
Okay, using a few different skills together. That can be really effective for learning.
That's the idea. But here's the key thing. Even if you're, say, commuting right now or maybe doing the washing up, or you just prefer listening, you can still totally follow along and do everything. We're going to read absolutely everything out loud, explain anything visual, so you can participate just by listening and thinking.
That's brilliant. So it's still fantastic listening comprehension practice, hearing natural English.
Exactly. And then, if you get a chance later, the reading and writing stuff is there as a kind of bonus.
Got it. A little extra if you want it.
So yeah, whether you're just listening or you're ready to try a few different things, let's get started. We'll jump right into part one, which is all about listening and picking up some new vocabulary with a little game. We're calling it Mystery Hobby.
Ooh, sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
A game to start things off. I like it.
Okay, so here's how it works. I'm going to describe 5 different hobbies. I'll try to use some rich descriptive language.
Okay.
And your job, listening along, is to try and guess the activity I'm describing, and also really pay attention to some of the key words and phrases I use.
Noticing those phrases is super helpful for building vocabulary, isn't it? Seeing how words are actually used.
It really is. Now, if you're listening on the go, no worries at all. Just focus on the descriptions, guess the hobby in your head. For anyone who might be watching or has the transcript, you might see some text pop up, but again, I'll say everything out loud. Ready for the first one?
Yep, let's hear mystery hobby number 1.
Okay, mystery hobby 1. So this is usually a quiet activity. It involves using nice fabrics, sharp needles, and colorful thread.
Fabrics, needles, thread. Okay.
You can make things like clothes or blankets, maybe even toys sometimes. It does take quite a bit of patience. But lots of people find it really relaxing after a busy day.
Something calming and creative with your hands. Seems like the clues point one way.
Did you guess it? The answer is sewing.
Ah, sewing. Makes sense.
Like, I enjoy sewing, and that's spelled S-E-W-I-N-G.
Sewing.
Yeah, sewing can be really satisfying, making something useful or beautiful yourself. Okay, moving on to mystery hobby 2. For this one, people often do it while sitting quietly, maybe by a riverbank or perhaps on a boat.
Okay, outdoors then. Quiet.
You need a rod, a line, and some bait. It's often seen as a very peaceful, relaxing way to spend time outside. Even if you don't actually catch anything. Sometimes, the conversation with who you're with is better than catching a fish.
Huh, yes. The river, the rod, the bait.
Yeah.
That definitely paints a picture.
So the answer is fishing.
Fishing.
Like, I go fishing.
Yeah, a great way to just be in nature and have some quiet time. Or not so quiet if you're chatting.
True. All right, mystery hobby 3. Now, this one's very active. Gets your heart pumping.
Okay, change of pace.
You often need special shoes, and there's usually a black and white ball involved.
Ah, the ball's a big clue.
It's played on a field, usually with teams, and the main goal is to kick that ball into the other team's net. It's probably the most popular sport in the whole world.
Right, special shoes, black and white ball, teams, kicking.
It's playing soccer, or, of course, football, depending on where you are.
Soccer or football, yes.
So you'd say, I play soccer.
Good fun with friends, that competitive spirit.
Definitely. Okay, mystery hobby 4. This hobby is all about exploring new places out in nature.
On foot, in nature.
Okay. You might follow trails in the mountains, maybe climb up some hills, see some amazing views.
Sounds lovely.
You really need comfortable boots for this one, and maybe a bit of an adventurous spirit. Fresh air and exercise are pretty much guaranteed.
Mountain trails, climbing hills, comfy boots. points towards hiking.
You could say, I go hiking, or I love hiking.
Hiking's fantastic, good for the body, and just, wow, seeing those views, it's good for the soul too, I think.
I agree. Okay, last one, mystery hobby 5. This is a creative one again. It uses things like brushes, colorful paints, and a canvas or maybe just paper.
Brushes, paints, canvas, very visual.
Yeah. You can express your feelings, your ideas, by creating beautiful images or pictures. People find it really calming and rewarding. And some people even manage to sell their artwork.
Oh, nice. Expressing yourself visually.
It's painting.
Painting.
You could say, I do painting, or just I paint, or maybe I'm into painting. Lots of options there.
Painting seems wonderful for creativity. And yeah, very calming too.
Great job listening, everyone. Did you notice each hobby sort of has its own little world of words?
Yeah, specific verbs and phrases.
Go fishing, play soccer, do painting. Using those makes you sound much more natural. So hopefully you've picked up some richer vocabulary there for talking about free time.
Definitely. Learning words in context like that through examples makes them stick better, I find. Easier to use them yourself later.
Okay, let's move smoothly into part 2 then. This bit is more focused on speaking and pronunciation. We're going to work on building some simple sentences and really trying to get that natural English intonation, the melody, the way your voice goes up and down.
Yes, intonation. So important for sounding natural and making sure people understand the feeling behind your words.
It really is. Now, look, for everyone listening, even if you're somewhere you can't actually speak out loud right now, I really want to encourage you to just mouth the words silently. Move your mouth as if you were saying them, or even just practice saying them in your head. It sounds weird, but your brain is still getting really good practice.
That's true. That silent practice or just thinking it through can be surprisingly effective for pronunciation and muscle memory.
Okay, so let's start with some really common verbs we use to talk about hobbies. Things like love, enjoy, keen on, and interested in.
Keywords for expressing preference, yeah.
So I'm going to say some sentences using these verbs, and I want you to repeat right after me. Really trying to copy the intonation, the music of the sentence. Ready? Here we go. I really enjoy fishing.
Warmer tone, maybe a bit more emphasis on really enjoy.
I'm keen on hiking.
That's quite common, especially in British English. Sounds a bit excited.
I'm interested in painting.
Emphasis on interested. Sounds like you want to know more. Curious.
Great stuff. How did that feel? Now let's add another layer. We can make these sentences even better by adding words that tell us how often we do these things.
Frequency words like always or sometimes.
Exactly. They add really useful detail. So the words we'll practice are always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, never.
These give a much clearer picture of your habits.
Okay, same thing again. Listen to the example sentences, pay attention to the intonation, and repeat after me. I always go hiking on Sundays.
Emphasis probably on always there.
I usually enjoy sewing in the evenings.
Usually often gets a bit of stress.
I often play soccer with my friends. I sometimes go fishing, especially in summer.
Sometimes can sound a bit more casual.
I rarely do painting, but I want to learn more.
Rarely, not very often.
I never go hiking in winter.
Never sounds quite definite, quite strong.
Perfect. Now, this is where it gets really interactive. The fun part. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I'd really love for you to try and answer them out loud using some of the words and phrases we've just practiced.
Oh, putting it into practice yourself. Good idea.
But again, if you can't speak out loud, no problem at all. Just think through your answers properly in your head. That's still fantastic mental practice.
Using the language to talk about you. That's the goal.
Okay, first question for you. What's a hobby you love doing? Think about something you really, truly enjoy.
You might say something like, I love reading mystery novels. Or maybe, I love playing video games. What is it for you?
Give it a try. Okay, question 2. How often do you do your favorite hobby? Try to use one of those frequency words like always, usually, or sometimes.
Think about your actual routine. When do you fit it in?
So you might say, for instance, I usually go hiking every weekend. Or maybe, I always go skiing every weekend in winter. Or perhaps, I sometimes go hiking in the summer. Your turn.
Use a word that feels right for you.
All right, question 3. Okay, this one's a little bit more of a challenge. Ready?
Ooh, challenge time.
Tell me one hobby you're interested in trying and give me one reason why.
So something new you'd like to start and the motivation behind it.
For example, you could say, I'm interested in trying cooking because I want to make delicious meals for my family. Or maybe, I'm interested in painting because I want to be more creative. What about you?
Think about something you've maybe considered doing.
Okay, now we're going to shift gears slightly into part 3. This is about reading and understanding a bit more deeply.
Okay.
We're going to use a short story, more like a profile, about someone named Clara.
Right, so this will show how all these words and phrases we've been looking at connect together in a longer text.
And just to reassure everyone who's only listening, please don't worry. I promise I will read everything out loud nice and clearly.
So you'll still get great listening practice.
You'll be practicing understanding spoken English. If you can see the transcript or video, great, you can read along. If not, just focus your listening.
Pay attention to the flow, how the ideas link up.
Okay, so I've put together this short description of Clara and her hobbies. It's designed to help you practice understanding longer, connected ideas.
So first, for those of you who can see the text right now, maybe take a moment just to read it silently to yourself. And for everyone else who's just listening, get ready. I'm going to read it aloud in just a second. Really listen for the main ideas about Clara. Okay, here's Clara's profile. I'll read it slowly and clearly. Clara. She's a very active person with diverse interests. In her free time, Clara is keen on hiking. She usually goes hiking every Saturday morning with her dog, exploring new trails. She also enjoys spending time indoors. When the weather is bad, she often does painting, creating beautiful landscapes. Clara sometimes goes fishing with her dad in the summer, though she says she's rarely successful at catching anything. Lastly, she's interested in learning how to sew her own clothes, but she hasn't started yet.
Okay, so that gives us a nice little picture of Clara's free time activities, a mix of things.
Now, let's see how well you understood that. I've got a few comprehension questions about Clara.
Testing or understanding. Whether you read along or you were just listening carefully, try to answer these. I'll pause for a moment to let you think, and then I'll give the answer.
Right, this helps check if you caught the key details and the main points.
Okay, question 1. What 2 outdoor hobbies does Clara enjoy?
2 activities she does outside.
The answer is Clara enjoys hiking and sometimes goes fishing.
Right, both hiking and fishing are typically outdoor activities.
Question 2. How often does she go hiking and who does she go with?
Looking for the frequency and her companion.
The answer, she usually goes hiking every Saturday morning with her dog.
Got it. Usually every Saturday morning with her dog. Specific details.
And question 3, what new hobby is Clara interested in and why hasn't she started it yet?
Something she wants to learn, but hasn't begun.
The answer there is she's interested in learning how to sew her own clothes, but she hasn't started yet. The text doesn't actually give a reason why she hasn't started, just that she hasn't.
Ah, okay. So she's interested, but hasn't taken the first step. That's pretty common with new hobbies, isn't it?
It really is. Excellent work, everyone. You're really starting to grasp more complex information, make those connections between sentences. That's brilliant comprehension building.
Yeah, you're strengthening that ability to follow along and remember information you hear or read in English. Well done.
All right. Believe it or not, we are now at our final section, part 4. This one's about writing and thinking creatively.
Okay.
This is where we pull everything together that we've worked on today. The focus here is on organizing your own thoughts about your hobbies.
Right. And even if you don't actually write anything down physically, just the process of thinking it through, structuring your ideas in English is incredibly valuable practice.
It really is. So if you can't write right now, please just think through this activity in your head. It's still training your brain to organize thoughts in English. For those who can write, maybe grab a pen and paper or open a notes app.
Think of it as your chance to tell your own little hobby story in English.
Okay, here's the challenge for you. I want you to try and create about, say, 3 or 4 sentences describing your own hobbies. And in those sentences, try your best to include these things. First, mention at least 3 different hobbies that you either do or maybe you're interested in.
Okay, 3 hobbies.
Second, try to use a few different verbs like we practiced: love, enjoy, keen on, interested in. Mix it up a bit.
Different expressing words, got it.
Third, see if you can slip in some of those frequency words: always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely.
How often you do them, right?
And then just as an optional little extra, if you want, you could also mention one hobby you'd like to try in the future, like Clara.
Okay, so 3 hobbies, different verbs, frequency words, and maybe a future hobby.
That's the plan. Don't worry about making it perfect. Just focus on expressing your own ideas using the English we've practiced.
Just putting your thoughts into simple sentences is the main goal.
To give you a concrete example, here's one I wrote about myself. In my free time, I love cooking international dishes. I usually try a new recipe every weekend. I also enjoy reading mystery novels before bed because it helps me relax. On Sunday mornings, I often go hiking with my dog Max, and we always discover new trails together. I'm really interested in learning photography because I want to capture the beautiful places we visit.
That's a great example. You've got cooking, reading, hiking. Verbs like love, enjoy, often go, interested in. Frequency words, usually, always, often. And the future hobby, photography.
Nice. So now it's your turn. If you are able to write right now, maybe pause the audio for a few minutes and jot down your sentences. You could even type them in the comments section below if you like.
Yeah, sharing is a good way to practice.
Or if you're listening on the go, just take a moment now to mentally compose those sentences. Think about what you'd say if you were telling someone about your hobbies in English. Both ways are really useful.
Take your time with it. No pressure. The most important thing is to make it personal. Think about the things you genuinely enjoy or want to do.
Okay, well, that brings us pretty much to the end of our Hobbies episode today. And look, whether you mainly listened along, maybe you read some parts, perhaps you practiced speaking those sentences out loud, or you even wrote down your own hobby story just now. Fantastic work today, everyone.
Yeah, really well done.
You've just gone through a really comprehensive English lesson focused on hobbies and free time. You've actively used listening, practiced speaking, thought about reading and writing, organized your thoughts, all while picking up new vocabulary naturally. That's real language learning happening right there.
It's amazing how covering one topic from different angles, using different skills, can really boost your learning.
It really is. Now, if you did write down your hobby story, we would genuinely love to read it. Please feel free to share it in the comments below this episode. I'll definitely try my best to read through them and maybe offer a word of encouragement.
It's always great to hear from you.
And even if you just thought through your story, you can still share a little bit about your hobbies in the comments. Just writing a sentence or two is brilliant practice and helps connect with other learners too.
Absolutely. Builds a nice little community feel, everyone learning together.
If you found this episode helpful for your English journey, we'd be really grateful if you could click that like button for us.
Yeah, it helps others find the lesson.
And please do subscribe to Simply English Pod if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on future lessons. Oh, and clicking the little notification bell means you'll know straight away when a new episode drops.
Your support really does help us keep creating these resources for you all.
And remember, honestly, the most important thing is just consistency. Keep practicing. Whether that's listening while you're traveling, saying a few sentences out loud at home, or typing a comment,
Every little bit counts.
every single bit helps. Your confidence using English will just naturally grow with every episode you engage with.
Each small step moves you forward. Keep at it.
We really do look forward to hearing about your hobbies and just seeing your English continue to blossom. Until our next episode together, please keep learning, keep growing, and keep it simply English. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.